For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
A well-known St. Lucian politician has an autobiography. We have a report on that. During the course of the broadcast, a politician says, and that politician, let's be straight, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, political leader of the SLP, says, I have a country to run. And of course, we have a notice with some good news for some of you. As we welcome you to yet another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. We'll be together until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and no doubt I'll be hearing from you when you'll be able to call at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. And Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. So stand by for that as we welcome you to yet another edition of the program. So a notice. The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment wishes to notify clients of the Public Assistance Program of Babonneau, Castries, Gros-Islet, Soucy, and Millet regions that payments for the month of November 2024 commence today, Tuesday, November 26, 2024, to Thursday, November 28, 2024, at the Welfare Division on Trinity Church Road, Castries, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Came across this notice, and I really thought that I should read it on the air so those of you benefiting from the Public Assistance Program can collect your payments. Started today, and it runs until Thursday of this week. It's the guava season. You have to go to the supermarkets, and we know the high cost of living in this country and the rate of inflation escalating nearly every day. So just had to present to you some good news. I have a country to run. So says the island's Prime Minister, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. And he says that very often. I find it a little strange that you must, when responding to questions from reporters, or sometimes in an unprovoked manner, you like to remind people that you have a country to run. And we all know that. But the first leader I heard make this expression would have been former Prime Minister Sir John Compton. He uttered the expression, I have a country to run. And I wonder, without being disrespectful, I wonder if anyone can make a fair assessment of the Prime Minister's stewardship regarding how he is running the affairs of the state. Whether you are a supporter of his party or a supporter of the opposition, or you don't care about politics, because there are some leaders who don't have to tell you that they have a country to run. And I could think of a couple of those leaders. I could think of the best prime minister in the world, Mia Mottley, saying that she has a country to run, and you get the impression that she is running the country. And more than that, she has the gravitas to show that. She is selling herself to the Barbadian public, and the Barbadian public, from what I could glean, reading the various newspapers, listening to the talk shows, speaking with some of my friends and colleagues over in Barbados, the majority of Barbadians feel that she is doing a satisfactory job as far as running the affairs of the country. I don't know, in all honesty, if we could say the same about this Prime Minister. But in the case of Sir John Compton, you got the impression that he has earned the right to utter those words. I have a country to run. Let's listen to just a clip of the Prime Minister during his pre-cabinet briefing yesterday when a question was posed to him. I think the question was, earlier today, there was a protest outside the CIP unit at VG. What is your response to this? And this is the response which emanated out of the mouth of Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre.
You see, I'll tell you something. I have a lot of things to do. I have a country to run. You see, I'll tell you something. I have a lot of things to do. I have a country to run.
And when you take so many things into consideration, the nation's crime problem, it is a menace. It is a headache for so many families in this country. It is out of control. And you do not get a sense that there is any kind of reprieve on the horizon anytime soon. Because as much as the Prime Minister has a country to run, and as much as he's the minister with responsibility for national security, he has not exhibited the kind of strength and the courage and determination to give you an iota of an impression that he has set about a serious task that will prove successful, that will materialize down the road, and therefore we will be reaping some reward out of his hard work any time soon. Because it is like a runaway train, that the crime problem in this country. It is like a train that has derailed, that has gone off track as far as crime, and the criminals are getting a lot bolder because they don't feel that there is anyone managing the affairs of the state, in particular as far as crime is concerned. The Prime Minister, it is well placed, it is well known that every time a question is posed to him regarding the crime situation in the country, he tells you a couple things. One, we have a crime pandemic in the Caribbean. If we have a crime pandemic in the Caribbean, you just had a meeting over in Guyana of CARICOM leaders. The decisions were taken, see crime as a public health issue, etc. But at the micro level, at the level of the respective states and communities, in the case of St. Lucia, Mr. Prime Minister, the question is, what have you done locally to bring this problem under some level of control? Because I know we have a crime problem in Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, St. Lucia, for sure, to a certain extent, raising its ugly head every now and then, in Dominica, and also St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not much of an issue in the Leeward Islands, St. Kitts, Nevis, and the likes of Anguilla and Montserrat. What are you doing about the problem at the level of St. Lucia so that we stand out for a couple of things, including having 2 Nobel laureates and now Julian Alfred? Yes, we stand out. Exceptional. And we get to boast about it. Are you saying that we cannot, with all our talent in the public service and also in the private sector, the human resource that we have, channel our energies whereby whatever we are doing in St. Lucia, it turns out to be successful, it can be adopted by the other islands, it can be replicated? Are you saying that you do not want to be an exception? Because you might not want to hear that, Mr. PM. But we had a real pandemic, COVID-19. And I could tell you, I'm sure a number of the other Caribbean islands were learning or adopting a thing or two from St. Lucia in terms of having a CMO, exceptionally hard-working CMO, and we had a mechanism whereby the various sectors would meet and to compare notes and formulate ideas under a command center to address COVID-19. And we did a remarkable job. We certainly were exceptional in our approach. What are you doing, Mr. Prime Minister, as an individual, as a country to run, to satisfactorily make an attempt to tackle the nation's crime problem? Not a policeman, we admit, but you are the country's leader. You are at the helm of the government, and you need to take that responsibility seriously. And I doubt we have school principals making excuses when things go awry in their schools. You take some responsibility. The head of private sector interests, for one particular quarter, the growth wasn't satisfactory compared to a quarter of a similar quarter of, let's say, the year before, maybe the first quarter, second quarter, etc. You take responsibility. You have board of directors that would pose questions to you. What is the plan? What is the long-term objective? What you hoping to achieve by the end of this year? What is the projection for next year? Set targets, Mr. Prime Minister. We are at about 72 homicides already for this year. And all you're doing is making excuses and making reference to the opposition. Because what do you want to do? If the people have not realized that, is to distract and deflect. So the crime situation, criminal elements getting a lot bolder. 2 guys were shot, 1 fatally on the Derrick Walker Square, etc. And you address it, you quickly say, you'd like to extend condolences to people who died, etc. And then people are celebrating crime. Let's listen to the Prime Minister when he made reference to crime being a pandemic in the region.
There's a pandemic of crime that in the region that we have to come together to solve. There's no one solution. There's no one thing you can do at this time to solve the pandemic in the region. We need a whole of society approach. We need politicians to stop glorifying crime for their own personal, for their own political motives. We need to have some things where you draw a red line. And a red line must be drawn against criminality. Social programs will help. Social programs are helping to a certain extent. Rehabilitation must happen. It's a whole series of interventions that have to happen, and not one intervention. So what I want to tell you is that the meeting has agreed that the crime situation in the country as a public health issue exists in all the islands in the region, and we have to get together to solve it.
And in that regard, so we just heard of another homicide down in Sufre. A young man lost his life. And recently they had a shooting right in the middle of town.
And all these things are things that are of great concern. And condolences to the relatives of these people. Great concern. There's nothing to be happy about it. There's no reason why we must be happy about these things. We must condemn it. And we have to condemn it. And glorifying it does not help for political reasons. We must stop doing that. And I'm calling on solutions to say to the people who are doing it that this glorification of crime must stop.
Prime Minister and National Security Minister Philip J. Pierre. Let's take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026, 716-2026. And somebody says there, Tim, does running a country involve abating crime, improving health sector, reducing cost of living, firing corrupt ministers? That's a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we have another message to go through. And somebody says, Hi Tim, the Prime Minister, in typical fashion, did not complete his statement. He should have said, I have a country to run into the ground. Every major institution or project in St. Lucia is poorly or badly managed under his hand. Crime, infrastructure, healthcare, inflation, CIP are all in the doldrums. And imagine, this is the year of infrastructure. Let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Oh, wow.
You're the opening batsman today, Rick.
I tried to call you, believe it or not, I tried to call you for almost an hour yesterday and couldn't do it.
Yeah. Today you're the opening batsman.
Tim, when I listen to clips like you just played there, I just feel sorry for St. Lucia, I don't even deal with the politicians who have to say whatever is convenient to be said in the day. Tim, listen to this. I want to put it to you that we cannot seriously tackle crime if there are crooks at the heart of the government which runs this country. Every single crook must be exposed and flushed out either by the popular will, and I want to make it very clear, I don't want to talk down to anybody. The popular will doesn't mean a will that's popular, The popular will, popular in this case means the people's will. Either by the popular will, by the will of the people, or by the legal processes available to the state. But that is not enough. The Labour Party will reconceptualize the entire basis of law and order, the penal system, and insofar as our Constitution permits, the organization and administration of justice. When that was written?
You tell me, sir. You'd have researched it. You stumbled on it. You know it exactly. Tell me.
I don't stumble on these things, Tim. I have them at my to remind me. I don't stumble. That was written by Kenny Anthony in 1997. That was a speech by Kenny Anthony in 1997.
27 years ago.
The same Kenny Anthony, I could read it, but everybody knows it by heart. The same Kenny Anthony pointed out that until the government has investigated the report that the facilitators of crime are in the government, are politicians, crooked politicians and crooked businessmen. Now, you notice the consistency? He says you can do nothing about crime until first and foremost you tackle crime. You cannot seriously tackle crime if there are crooks at the heart of the government which runs this country. And then he goes on to tell you, some years later, that the facilitators of the crime, the crooks, are in the government. You see a consistency there?
Yeah.
Why is it the media, even I dare say, NewsSpin, do not make a habit of underscoring that if you don't check out what Kenny Anthony said more than once, a lot of times more than once, that a whole set of investigators were brought specially from Jamaica to discover that. If we refuse to look at that because we're afraid of an inconvenience, then the people themselves, the popular will, that it does not exist, I don't want to say deserves, but they're asking for it, they're encouraging it. And this is not a matter of Labour Party victims or UWV victims. I don't know how many times I have to say that. It's solutions. And it does not stop there. Yesterday, I was very pleased to hear J.J. Jean-Pierre saying that opposition parties are at a disadvantage because the governing party can always get millions of dollars to run elections. A facility that's not available to opposition. Remember that?
Yes. Of course,
she was
making reference to an opposition party over in Nevis and not in St. Lucia, because I don't think she would be making that kind of statement if she was addressing any gathering in St. Lucia.
Well, you're entitled to your thinking, but my thinking is that she was addressing the position of government versus opposition when it comes to election. She was not just speaking about one thing. She was talking generally because it makes good sense.
I don't think it's generally, Rick, because do not forget she was addressing a gathering of opposition supporters in a regional territory, in Nevis, not in St. Lucia. So it's applicable. It seems appropriate to make that statement in Nevis, but she will not make it in St. Lucia.
That's a totally different thing we're talking about here. Now, the fact that it might not be convenient for her to say it here does not change the principle she was talking about.
Yes.
You see, the fact that she would not say it conveniently here, and that is a point I wanted to drop as well. There's a short thing again. I want to pass on instead of just Rick Wayne thinking. We have had great thinkers long before Rick Wayne. I'm not saying Rick Wayne is a great thinker, but people tend to say, hey, that's true, that's true, when I say it. But I don't want to take the credit for that. We as a people have been bringing down the brimstone on ourselves with our stupidity, our selfishness, our short-sightedness. So if you are UWP and UWP is in office, UWP can get away with murder, and you will never say that murder is wrong. Same thing as Labour Party, and we don't understand the country pays for it on a whole, that the only people who profit are the politicians, and I am convinced, and nothing has changed, I've been betting at for a long time, I'm convinced that our opposing parties here and elsewhere, especially in these islands, they have an unwritten agreement that they will go just so far on everything and not go past that. Did you follow that?
And that is why what you're saying, people are not being made to account for certain allegations that level at them, certain practices, certain instances of wrongdoing while in government. That's what you're saying?
Exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, for example, you remember a few weeks ago that, whatever his name is, Chico, the Chico guy.
Peter Chico?
Peter Chico. He said that he had put some things before the special prosecutor, right?
Yes.
Well, that was just a few weeks ago. The special prosecutor has been there a year. And the complaints that allegedly were to be put before, in fact, the need for the special prosecutor was based on serious, consistently repeated allegations against certain members of the opposition party, now opposition party. Am I correct in that?
You're correct, yeah.
We have not heard a word from that office. But we have now heard from him, from the office, regarding Chico's case, which was basically thrown out.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, listen to this, Tim. Judicial independence as a feature of the actual life of community and its institutions depends substantially on the real and perceived ability of judges to resist all improper external pressures and influences and to give decisions which, irrespective of the parties involved, they honestly and genuinely believe on the facts presented and on the relevant law to be right. Now, I quickly say that because a little while ago we had a judge recusing himself from a particular case on the basis that there was political interference in the case. Remember that?
I can recall, yes.
There was a lot of talk about that. We have not heard one word yet from the Justice.
Chief Justice?
How do you call it? Chief Justice. Not one word. And the guy was...
Or even from the St. Lucia Bar Association.
Well, do you drink a lot, Tim?
From time to time.
Well, I was going to say to you, I can't say much about the activities of bars in St. Lucia since I don't visit bars, you know.
So
but the guy has...
That bar does not exist.
Well, okay. That's the point. That judge we're talking about, who recused himself, was transferred to Grenada. And we have heard nothing, neither have we made any demands. Because that's the people thing again. Now, let me just a little more for you. Judges and former judges, when asked to preside over commissions of inquiry, should carefully consider the nature and terms of the inquiry, before accepting appointment in order to avoid or minimize the risk of embarrassment to the individual and collective independence of the judiciary. Now that's for judges. It goes on to talk about lawyers as well, that lawyers by the Bar Association should promote legal literacy among the public, including an awareness of constitutional rights and available remedies. But just think about all those things. But we have all these bodies, the Bar Association, all these bodies, all set up to keep the public informed, to keep the society running like a country. The Prime Minister said he has a country to run. I don't think he's referring to the country in terms of a rabble. Running a country, it means a country that is protected by its laws, a country that's protected by its constitution, a country where all the various institutions function. That is what's meant by running a country. Not just people's business or getting a job opportunity. At the heart of running a country is to guarantee that the institutions set up by the Constitution are working as they are intended to work. If they are not working, whoever is in charge of the country is a miserable failure. So there are all kinds of things put out for judges, for lawyers, and so on and so on. So when Jadia, who I have a lot of time for, by the way, I haven't talked to her in 100 years. When she spoke there, I heard a lawyer speaking. I heard a very experienced politician speaking. And I took her words seriously and just felt very sorry for us. And then I figured, well, why am I wasting my humanity on people who obviously don't give a damn? I mean, the Derek Walcott Square has now been demeaned beyond measure. An open square, I'm hearing now, is a market for drugs. I heard somebody saying that, well, more than one person say that on your show. On your show, I heard it.
Yes, they did.
Good. That you cannot now think of Derek Walcott without also thinking of the square that stands up to symbolize Derek Walcott, and to keep in mind that an open, broad daylight murder occurred there, that it has now become a place associated with terror. No sane person will go and sit there to read a book night or day or evening time. We have had no explanation as to why there were no police presence, even for protection of the park, as well as people in the area, because it's a very busy area. We have no explanation for that, and we don't ask for them either.
Rick, forget explanation and forget asking for explanation, because this is the norm. This is something that we have accepted, that you have key areas in the nation's capital on the island that are frequented by dozens, if not hundreds of people, and yet still police presence is always almost lacking, and we say nothing about it. And if we make reference to it, is timidly and en passant that we do that. And as a result of that, the authorities are not taking heed, and that will include the police, that will include now your national security minister, and also your parliamentary representatives. So the people, basically, they have reached a point, they have caused themselves to be defenseless. And they are not being, and Rick, finally, they are not being taken seriously.
Frantz Fanon said, and I'm paraphrasing, when a people have been oppressed to the point that they can take it no more, they turn on themselves. They don't turn on the oppressor, because the oppressor is beyond them. When they have been oppressed to the point that they can't take it anymore and can do nothing about the oppressor, they turn on themselves. And that takes various forms. So the criminality we're seeing, the violence we're seeing, we will never know because we don't investigate those things, although they have been investigated by World Bank publications. They have been investigated by people like Dio Soran as to the rage in young people, why young people are acting the way they're acting, why they have no respect for the institutions, including the police and the government, why most of them think our politicians are crooks. Our politicians call one another crooks of the highest order in the parliament, Tim. Our politicians call one another money launderers, crooks, white batterers. They call one another those things in parliament, most often, quite often, without the intervention even of the speaker. You know? And that is, I don't speak just about this year. That's been going on forever, so that is an accepted normality. It's normal life in St. Lucia. When you turn on to watch parliamentary meetings, that at least one allegation of serious crime will be thrown at a minister, if not more disgusting. And there's never any follow-up. You've never heard a police officer going to try to investigate. Maybe there's a connection with what was said in Parliament and a certain crime. That's possible, huh?
That is strange. Absolutely.
Well, those are the things we're supposed to be talking about, but we're not. So we check out your.
But Rick, NewsSpin cannot cover every possible significant issue in St. Lucia.
Say that again?
NewsSpin cannot cover every possible significant issue in St. Lucia. And at the rate we're going, and I think if we could blow our trumpet, we are not doing too bad in terms of highlighting those issues that are of critical importance to the people of the country.
I think the people of the country are well informed. Don't get me wrong, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I think the people are well informed. But such a job has been done on them that if an atrocity is committed by the Yellow Brigade, the only complaints will come from the Red Brigade, and the Yellow Brigade will cover it up. Vice versa. If it's the Labour Party that does something, I mean, Kenny Anthony made some very, very serious pronouncements about certain politicians, both on his platform and elsewhere, you know. I remember in 2011 when Kenny Anthony came back from opposition, among the more pungent things he said was addressing the people of this country that they were too lax in the way they cast their votes. So they should be examining the candidates.
So in the interest of Tamrick, what has he done about it? He has been in office from 1997. He has been the Prime Minister for 3 terms.
At least, let me answer you quickly in the interest of time. At least he spoke those things. But the vast crowd, the population, have embraced the very evils he was talking about, embraced those evils and made them normal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Still to come, we have a crude Facebook page post, and it's leveled at the Water and Sewerage Company. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex Customer Service Office in Castries is now opened for business, but we've moved. We're now located on Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci on the ground floor of the new Carilac building. We're open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to serve you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucilex Sanssouci office, ground floor of the Carilac building. New location, same great service.
Ho, ho, ho! KFC is bringing the magic with 12 days of Christmas. Starting November 18th, anytime you buy a festive feast at KFC, you can enter to win amazing prizes. Just write your name and number on your receipt and drop it in the entry box. From December 9th to 20th, we're giving away a NutriBullet, Apple Watch, iPhone 15 Pro Max, and more. And on December 20th, the grand prize, an all-expense-paid trip to Jamaica with tickets to see Vibes Cartel at the Freedom Street concert. Don't miss the holiday kickoff on November 22nd at Rodney Bay KFC from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. KFC, finger-licking good.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup, cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I sign up for Flow.
With Christmasing with thousands of gifts even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now.
It is well known by all solution professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Groside. Europa, we service what we sell.
La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence is revolutionizing healthcare right here in St. Lucia. No longer do you have to travel abroad for high-quality head-to-toe MRI images. Our center features the latest 1.5 Tesla MRI technology from General Electric. Operated by GE Healthcare certified technologists, our radiation-free scans provide unparalleled clarity. Our board-certified specialist radiologists ensure more accurate diagnoses. Don't take our word for it. We continue to serve many satisfied patients. And the best part? Your MRI report arrives within 24 hours, and we can send images directly to your doctor anywhere in the world. Say goodbye to long wait times and unnecessary travel expenses. Trust the Caribbean's leading medical imaging service located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence today and take the first step towards a healthier tomorrow.
Big news. M&C Home Depot and Sunbelt are hiring now, and we want you to join our team. That's right. We're looking for passionate, driven people for many rewarding positions, from customer service and sales to warehouse roles and beyond. Whether you're starting your career or ready for a new challenge, we've got a spot for you. Don't miss out. Apply today. Drop off your CV at any of our locations or visit our website at www.mnchomedepot.com.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastors Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
This is the world's most monitored talk show. It's called NewsSpin. So I extracted this from social media, Facebook. It reads, Wasco, I need water to wash my vajayjay. Please, please. And thanks, 5 days, no water in cantonment and the surrounding areas. We need water. So hoping that Wasco will take this plea seriously and act upon it. I think there are many parts of the island that are without potable water now over several days. In some cases, over several weeks. I think people have been claiming, some instances, the water shortage has lasted for about 2 weeks or so. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Don't know if you are in a position, Amanda, to go through some comments extracted from the chat room.
We have some from earlier in the chat room. Good afternoon, News Spinners. In the chat room, someone says the PM said that he has a country to run, but if he has not understood the impact of tourism in that country as a former tourism minister, tell me how he will understand how to run a country. Another comment, you have as little of things to do, but you are not doing anything effectively. Someone says, what country you have to run? Maybe he is moving to a different country. Another comment, it's sad that every time a question is posed to the Prime Minister, he feels like being attacked by a non-supporter of his political party, so he goes into anger and defensive mode, where he will stray from the question and focus on the one who asked the question. Another comment, this government spent more time and resources organizing a work of progress instead of working on actual progress. Someone says, by disbanding the K9 unit, PJP has done more than his share at contributing to the increase in crime. Another comment, your government is the worst pandemic, PJP to St. Lucia. Someone says, and to make it worse, he is Minister for Security. He gave himself that portfolio. He can't handle it and doesn't take advice. Another comment, is PJP responsible for the region? PJP addresses the crime in St. Lucia and how you will lead the charge on reducing it. Someone says, so because other countries has crime, it is justified for St. Lucia homicide rate to be that high. Another comment, and his own members of his party do not listen. Furthermore, if politicians are aware of criminal activity from their fellow political affiliates, why aren't they reporting this? Another comment, they have a home and away tongue. In Dominica, PJP said that elections will be soon, but in St. Lucia, he says it's no time soon. PJP, they're like a razor blade cutting all 10 sides.
And let's play that clip of the Prime Minister speaking at the Conference of Delegates of the Dominica Labour Party early this month. This is what he said regarding general elections in St. Lucia.
I come to tell you that St. Lucia will have a general election very soon. I come to tell you that St. Lucia will have a general election very soon.
So when he was asked to explain that statement during the pre-cabinet press briefing yesterday, this is how the Prime Minister reacted.
Let me tell you what happened. There was a convention in Jamaica. Roosevelt brought a bell. So he said a bell, he says that's his bell. When I was speaking, I said, Roosevelt, lend me your bell. I said the bell and I rang it. I mean, why we can't, that's not good, you know. You see what we're doing in St. Lucia for political reasons. That's not good, you know. That anger we are generating in this country for political, and I want you to quote me in saying that. That anger we are generating in St. Lucia for political reasons is not good. Not good at all.
I come to tell you that St. Lucia will have a general election very soon.
Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre. Let's go back to you, Amanda, and find out if we have some more comments in the chat room. Do we?
Tim, that's it for now.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there are more because my...
You have some technical
Yeah.
issues. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right, I'll return to you in just a moment. Let's see if we have a WhatsApp message. It reads, Tim, should we continue to be surprised by the ineffective responses coming out of the Cabinet of Ministers? Has the Prime Minister given the nation a clear and factual report as to why the bank accounts of a member of his cabinet were closed? Has the Prime Minister given the nation a clear and honest response to the many questions surrounding the CIP mess? Has the Prime Minister explained to the nation the issues surrounding the sale of the Bannon lands? Tim, when winning the elections in 2021 and a victorious candidate can say no one will touch his vendors, is one surprised as to the unchecked mess which is clogging the sidewalks of Castries? There are too many issues for the PJP Cabinet of Ministers to answer. An embarrassment to St. Lucia. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Didn't Guy Joseph say this on some time ago on your show, the German elections soon? Well, it does not matter regarding German elections what Guy Joseph says, because Guy Joseph is not the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. Under the Constitution, he does not determine when German elections will be called. Another WhatsApp message, is there an update on our tax refunds? I haven't received mine as yet. What happens, God forbid, if I pass away? Is family entitled to receive it? Let's hope that somebody who's in the know can provide us with a response to this. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And it reads there, investigation from a countryman. Where are Dr. Kenny Anthony, Alpha Baptiste, and the Minister for Ancillary? Guess they are doing groundwork or Mumu tablets overdose. Them fellas came in, eat taxpayers' money, get fat and sleep. High time we start shuffling with their team, first or second rounder up. And another WhatsApp message, just bear with me while I try to access as many of them as possible. Seems accurate to me. He's running the country down. Another WhatsApp message. This matter of crime is everyone's responsibility, particularly parents of those young people who are the perpetrators. Let us stop looking to one person, that is, the Prime Minister, whoever that may be, to solve community or parenting issues. No Prime Minister can instill the correct values in any person. By looking to people like Prime Ministers, we're encouraging those criminals and the parents to deflect responsibility for their actions. My response to this: yes, there's a responsibility for the entire community. There is a responsibility for parents to ensure that they raise their children to be law-abiding citizens, productive citizens. Citizens can take responsibility for their actions, their civic duty, etc. But I want to stress as well, if parents fail to raise the child in the way that they should be brought up, then it is the responsibility of the state. That includes the police, it includes the judiciary, it includes the Prime Minister, to ensure that they do not become a menace to the society where they engage in acts of a criminal nature that could pose a danger to law-abiding citizens. If the parents could not ensure that they account for their actions, the state has to step in. So do not tell me that the responsibility for maintaining law and order in a country does not reside with the police, with the judiciary, with the legislative or the legislators in our country, with our Prime Minister, with our National Security Minister. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 7162026. WhatsApp message. Somebody says that, Tim, they will not do anything to stop or curb crime. If they would have to start with themselves. So, whole constantly see pas bon. Okay, let's see if we have another one. It says there, Tim, are you? All right. Okay, let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Chico.
I was just reading the documents sent by the special prosecutor with regards to the 5 matters that were filed against Dr. Healy, Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. Shimon Emmanuel, Mr. Leslie Mondesi, Mr. Claudius Francis, and the Prime Minister, Mr. Philippe Dupierre. And I just want to read a small portion of the response to me. I just read some 1 or 2 paragraphs. But first, some clarity about the Special Prosecutor's Act and its application to criminal corrupt conduct. Corrupt conduct is not a specific offense, but a description of the rubric under which specific conduct are deemed and listed as corrupt offenses. Malfeasance in public office and misbehavior in public office are 2.
Caller, I can't hear you too clearly, and I think the audience is not hearing you too clearly as well. You need to speak directly into the phone, if that's possible. Yeah.
All right, Tim. I will.
Better.
Can you hear me better?
Better. 100% better.
All right. So I was reading. So I will start back. Just read just 2 paragraphs, a couple of paragraphs in the letter. But first, some clarity about the Special Prosecutor Act and its application to criminal corrupt conduct. Corrupt conduct is not a specific offense, but a description of the rubric under which specific conducts are deemed and listed as corrupt offenses. Malfeasance in public office and misbehavior in public office are 2 such specific offenses of corrupt conduct. Malfeasance is defined in Section 3B of the schedule as a reference to a civil cause of action. Misbehavior in public office is particularly defined in Section 2 and 3A of the schedule as a criminal breach of public trust with no reasonable explanation. All of these complaints arise from matters that occurred before August 16, 2022. Which the Special Prosecutor Act, when the Special Prosecutor Act came into force in August 2022. So technically, all of these complaints that were made, based on what I've just read, it says that all of that happened before the Special Prosecutor's Act was passed, and as a result, technically, the Special Prosecutors Act cannot proceed. So we take that one out of the equation. So technically, the matters that were filed before the matters were filed and before the passing of the act, technically does not fall within the jurisdiction of the act. Now, these matters were filed when Ernest Healy was not a government minister. The matters were filed against Ernest Healy as a private citizen, an importer of goods in the country. So we're going on to the claim against him. Technically, based on the Special Prosecutors Act, the complaints allege offense of corrupt misconduct, malfeasance in public office, misbehavior in public office, corrupt conspiracy in a non-renewal of the appointment of the acting comptroller of customs, and slander. The Special Prosecutor's Examination, Section 27 of the Special Prosecutors Act, of the factual and legal content of the particulars and of several exhibits submitted with the complaint, disclose no prima facie evidence of the allegations made against Dr. Ernest Healy. So, technically, I was supposed to have presented additional evidence and header evidence, in my view, after reading this and speaking even to the special prosecutor, I do not have no exchange of letters or privy to conversations between Dr. Healy, the Prime Minister, as to what would cause them to make decisions like that. So outside me providing evidence to show that they would not have, the special prosecutor would not have had sufficient evidence from me in order for them to proceed on the matter. The same thing with Claudius Francis and that against the Prime Minister himself. And let me just get the response from against the Prime Minister, against Philip J. Pierre. The particulars of the complaints of misconduct as follows: for his action to refuse the renewal of my acting as Comptroller of Customs to create the opening for another officer to be appointed to initiate the withdrawal of the criminal matters. According to what they're saying, according to what they're explaining in that, having examined the particulars and the exhibits submitted with them for facts and law bordering on criminal corrupt conduct, I found no such evidence. There is no misconduct in public office in the Prime Minister choosing not to renew an acting contract that will have expired, nor in his attendance at court in support of a colleague, nor any evidence to create an unfair advantage for Mr. Healy as alleged, nor any evidence of him victimizing the complainant or abusing his powers as Prime Minister. I find the complaints to be without merit, and therefore, you get him?
Yes, sir. I'm listening to you.
And therefore, no need for investigation. So, the Prime Minister, after showing up at the court, when exiting the court, he was interviewed by the media, something which he has denied subsequently. He was interviewed by the media, and he said to the media, he came to the court to see justice done and to ensure the legal system is working properly. So my question to the special prosecutor, what evidence was I supposed to present? So he said, according to the special prosecutor, anybody could come to the court to support anybody. So if the Prime Minister chose to go, and the Prime Minister and the Speaker of the House chose to show up in the court to basically give their friend, their comrade support, that's very fine, that's legitimate, and this does not constitute a corrupt act. For Mr. Leslie Mondesi, the allegations of refusal or failure of the Attorney General to respond to and provide request legal representation pursuant to Staff Orders 4.2 to the complainant in Dr. Hilde's civil action against the complainant in the light of the provisions of Section 129 of the Customs Act, and thus forcing Mr. Chico to finance his own defense may well be in contravention of Section 4.21 of the Criminal Code, and that merits further investigation. So, irrespective of Leslie Mondesi, who was Dr. Ernest Hiller's defense lawyer prior to the matters, in fact, while the matters were lodged, he was defending a private citizen against the state. The government won the election. The private citizen became a minister. The lawyer became the Attorney General. So, now that he's the Attorney General, he did not represent the state. He discontinued representation of the state. So technically, what the special prosecutor is saying is that the Attorney General was performing his duties, which is Mr. Leslie Mondesi was performing his duty to defend or to prosecute the matter on behalf of the state, to solve the problem on behalf of the state, taking the cheapest possible route for the state. Now remember, Dr. Ernest Hille was not taken to court as a minister. He was taken to court as a private citizen. He was not in the government. But the private citizen and the private lawyer now become government lawyers. And now they're defending the government against themselves. Technically, that's what it is. So on that basis, that matter merited further investigation as is required, as is stipulated here in the letter by the special prosecutor. The same applies to Sherman Emmanuel. When I did write Mr. Emmanuel, I wrote Mr. Emmanuel and I asked him to clarify the statements he made to me prior in his office, prior to us going to the court. Mr. Emmanuel said to me that when he met with Mr. Leslie Mondesi, and according to the special prosecutor, there is nothing wrong in Mr. Leslie Mondesi as the Attorney General sitting on a matter to resolve a matter against the government. Remember, Ernest Hille at the time was not in government. When I wrote Mr. Sherman Emmanuel, Mr. Emmanuel said to me that in a discussion with Mr. Leslie Mondesi, that discussion I advised him not to attend it because I know that something would have gone amiss. He said to me that Mr. Mondesi picked up his phone, made a call, and informed him that the mediation, he set a mediation for the very same day, right? The very same day. He did not inform me about the mediation. In fact, he sent me a message to tell me he sent me a message 15 minutes before the mediation time to tell me that he would have attended. I got the message hours later. So Mr. Leslie Mondesi, according to the special prosecutor, did not commit any form of corruption. He was only performing his duties to review and settle the matter in the best interest of the government. At the time, Dr. Hille was not in government, but that's what happened. However, he is saying that the same thing applied to Leslie Mondesi for his failure to have Ernest Hille withdraw the matters against Peter Chico, Comptroller of Customs. That requires further investigation. So as far as the special prosecutor is concerned, the two matters, one against Sherman's failure to have Dr. Ernest Hille and his legal team withdraw all the matters so that it don't put me into the expense of getting my private attorney, which was denied by the state, right, would apply. And so these two matters would have to be further investigated. However, Dr. Ernest Hille, Claudius Francis, and the Prime Minister, as far as the special prosecutor is concerned, I did not provide sufficient evidence to determine whether or not these three were involved in any corrupt matters. Now, team, you don't expect the level of crime we have in out there. It will not stop, until these things are dealt with. And I am sending a message out that you see the next government, if the United Workers' Party, when the United Workers' Party gets into government, these matters cannot go down that way. Public servants need to be protected. The citizens need to be protected more than these individuals that meander in their way, sneaking their way through the laws in order for them to escape justice. The persons who need justice in this country are not getting the justice that they need. And that is why we have that level of lawlessness on the outside there. Team, I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for calling the broadcaster. Just heard there from former Acting Comptroller of Customs, Mr. Peter Chico, and he's also the opposition United Workers' Party's candidate for Castries East. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Please stay with us.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Christmas in this year.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you want.
More gifts with Flow. With Christmas in, win weekly prices up to $10,000 in cash. Sign up for a postpaid bundle or a broadband plan. We Christmasing with free groceries from Flow. Plus, a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing. More gifts with Flow.
This Christmas, there's a warmth that goes beyond the twinkling lights. It's the warmth of family, of sharing a meal that brings everyone closer. KFC's Festive Feast isn't just a meal, it's a moment where every bite brings a smile and every piece brings you home. So get the family a festive bucket or the festive box. KFC's Festive Feast, bringing families together. One delicious meal at a time.
Crunch the holidays however you want. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
It's the end of the year yard sale you've been waiting for at MNC Home Depot, Viewfort. This Friday, November 29th, and Saturday, November 30th, save 75% off on everything you need to transform your home this holiday season. Yes, you heard that right, 75% off. Tools, paints, housewares, and so much more. It's the perfect time to stock up, save big, and get ready for the holidays. Don't miss your chance to grab these incredible deals before the year ends. Head to MNC Home Depot Viewfort, end of the year yard sale, and make your home improvement dreams a reality at unbeatable prices. Don't miss out. Terms and conditions may apply. See in-store for more details.
Ever walked into an ice cream shop and felt overwhelmed by the flavors? Mom's eyeing vanilla, Dad set on rum and raisin, and the kids going on about cherry chocolate and pistachio? Well, this Christmas, there's one thing everyone can agree on. Still, whether you're already a proud owner or expecting one under the tree, Still is the gift that keeps on giving. Powerful, reliable, and backed by amazing after-sales service. From lawnmowers to brush cutters and blowers, Still makes your yard merry and bright all year long. Head over to Europa in Massad Grosile or call 452-0763 and give the gift of Still this holiday season. Remember, we service what we sell.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas.
La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence is revolutionizing healthcare right here in St. Lucia. No longer do you have to travel abroad for high-quality head-to-toe MRI images. Our center features the latest 1.5 Tesla MRI technology from General Electric. Operated by GE Healthcare certified technologists, our radiation-free scans provide unparalleled clarity. Our board-certified specialist radiologists ensure more accurate diagnoses. Don't take our word for it. We continue to serve many satisfied patients. And the best part? Your MRI report arrives within 24 hours, and we can send images directly to your doctor anywhere in the world. Say goodbye to long wait times and unnecessary travel expenses. Trust the Caribbean's leading medical imaging service located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence today and take the first step towards a healthier tomorrow.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastors Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, cast in sand, and plaster in sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastors Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastors Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true.
Light up your Christmas and lighten your financial burden this season with a holiday loan from Axel Finance. Plus, every loan gets you a chance to win your favorite kitchen appliance and grocery vouchers.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true.
Come in today and get your Axel Finance holiday loan.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin, where we continue our discussions and, of course, your calls. In the moment, we have a report that is on a recently published autobiography and by a well-known St. Lucian politician. But first, let me turn my attention to Amanda and, of course, what's happening in the chat room.
Someone says CIP Lucians will be qualified to vote soon. Another comment, I just hate to hear this ignorant comment that PJP disbanded the K9 unit. Let me enlighten you. The St. Lucia K9 unit was disbanded about 15 to 16 years ago, and the reason for doing so was because of lack of interest by the K9 handlers. They were neglecting the dogs. What we had sometime just before the last general election was not a K9 unit. It was 2 dogs being rented by the state from a private business. So how can you disband what is not existing? Another comment, injustice is the first evidence of a failed country. Someone says, I don't think the caller understands what he's really reading. A special prosecutor can investigate past official misconduct. Their primary purpose is often to investigate potential wrongdoings by government officials, including past actions when a conflict of interest exists with the regular prosecuting authority, allowing them to pursue cases even if the alleged misconduct occurred some time ago. Another comment, but isn't there a law where there is no statute of limitation for corruption in government? Time will tell. Someone says, how can a government fight crime without the appearance of justice? Another contribution, my recommendation is for St. Lucians to ignore the CCJ and instead use the Eastern Caribbean Court. And in the chat room, someone says, there is no misconduct in public office in the Prime Minister choosing not to renew an acting contract that has expired, nor in his attendance at court in support of a colleague, nor any evidence of creating an unfair advantage for Mr. Healy as alleged, nor any evidence of him victimizing the complainant or abusing his power as Prime Minister. I find the complaints to be without merit and therefore no need for investigation. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Somebody says via WhatsApp, if any of us were functioning at our jobs at the level the Prime Minister of St. Lucia currently operates, we would have lost our jobs a long time ago. Imagine a NewsSpin program without any sponsors, no advertisers, without any calls, without any feedback, without any complaints, not getting any traction, you think I'll still be on this program? I don't think so. All right, let me see if I have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says they're via WhatsApp. Tim, whatever happened to these social clubs, example, Rice and Lucia, they took the Mumu tablets too. Criminals, no criminals, so why our ministers playing marbles with them? As Philip said, we have dons in the country. Let's just turn our heads away from crime, supply the gangs with whatever they need. Oh yeah, Christmas ahead. Kenny, let's beg them again. Shaking my head. Another WhatsApp message. I want to reflect on Jamie Haynes and Frank Myers sharing yesterday. My take is that the current CIP configuration is a daylight heist. Given the number of passports which are allocated to Galaxy and BMAX, we need to whether CIP passport holders will be able to vote in the general elections. If so, what determines the constituency in which they are registered? All they have to do is to reside in St. Lucia, registered in a particular constituency for about 7 weeks to 2 months, and they qualify to vote in the next general elections. Somebody says that I've seen many videos where the community turn on the police when they come to deal with an alleged criminal. This is a very strong message to the criminals that they will not be challenged by the community members. From my understanding, all criminals are dealt with appropriately by the law. No doubt there are many cases where that goes amiss. Another WhatsApp message. I do not know call-in programs you listen to Barbados. While you keep showering praise on the Prime Minister of Barbados, the main hospital, the QEH, is in a mess. The NIC is about to collapse. Crime is on the rise. The government of Barbados just borrowed $500 million to support the economy. Debt is increasing, and Barbados is still in the clutches of the IMF. A good talker is not always a good performer. Another WhatsApp message. It reads there. Can you tell me, please, about the parking meters in the city, please? Are they working yet? No, they are not functioning to date. I think attempts are being made to put them into use within the next few weeks or so. Somebody says the things St. Lucians should be protesting for, they are not doing it. This is what makes me so mad. All right, we have a report now. Remember this politician who famously crossed the floor, and that was in 1987, became a foreign minister of St. Lucia. He's a former political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, and recently served as the island's head of state, the Governor General. I'm referring there to Sir Neville Snack, who has published an autobiography, and it's titled Sele, Crossing the Divide. And we have a report from Natalie Jolie Fannis.
Fellow St. Lucians, my people.
Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack demitted office in July 2021 as Governor General of St. Lucia. He was capping a political career which began in 1968 when he joined the St. Lucia Labour Party to fight against the John Compton-led United Workers' Party.
I entered politics because there were causes that needed assistance and wrongs that needed resistance. That cause was the cause of the Labour people, and the wrongs concerned Compton's authoritarian style of government.
Sir Neville's autobiography, Sele, Crossing the Divide, seeks to set the record straight on political developments between 1961 and 1992, as he believes many accounts have been distorted or are simply untrue.
I wrote this book to be a true and faithful account of my political life, to place on record the contributions I made to the Labour movement and the St. Lucia Labour Party, and to explain why I crossed the floor.
Sir Neville served St. Lucia in many capacities as a civil servant and mayor of Castries. He was also a member of Parliament, political leader of the Labour Party, and leader of the opposition. In government, he served as Minister for Foreign Affairs, President of the Senate, and Governor General. In his autobiography, Sir Neville also rationalizes his decision to cross the floor in 1987.
I would like my people to understand why I was virtually compelled to cross the floor. And I would like my people to know what I gave to the St. Lucia Labour Party and not what I took from it.
Silaire is described by Sir Neville as a record of truth, whole and entire, detailing his efforts along with Labour Party leader Kenneth Foster to revive a declining political organization in the 1960s.
I would like my people to know the contribution which Kenneth Foster and I made, laboring in the vineyard when Labour's fortunes were at its lowest ebb.
The autobiography of Sir Emmanuel Neville Snack includes a call to current and future politicians to put the people's interest ahead of personal goals and ambitions.
I ask politicians to be the leaders our people want them to be, not who, because of cynicism, our people expect them to be.
Silaire, Crossing the Divide, is dedicated to Sir Neville's wife, Julita Snack, his 5 children, and the people of Labrie who stood with him after he crossed the floor in 1987. With his labor of love completed, Sir Neville is spending quality time with his wife and grandchildren. Silaire is available as an ebook on Amazon at the University of the West Indies Library and by contacting 460-6000.
Report there filed by Natalie Jolie Fannis, and that is on the book Silaire, Crossing the Divide, published. Is an autobiography published by former St. Lucia Governor General Sir Neville Snack. Remember, he crossed the floor in 1987. In the chat room, somebody already asking whether Mr. Stevenson King will publish a book as well. I don't know if you have any, some comments that you could go through, Amanda, in the chat room. Do you have any?
I think I see one. It says, the person who is so mad about the reason for marching should be on the road with their placard. Why complain, where are you now, whilst others are in action? And someone says, I need to put my hand on this book. I think that's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update. Let me see if you have some of your comments I could go through. Somebody sent me a WhatsApp message. That person is watching from Hawaii. It says that Tim, Philip J. Pierre is confused because back in the day, he said he knows everything about the crime situation. Now he is telling people to tell the criminals stop. He should be the ones delivering the message because he knows everything. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages before we conclude our broadcast today. Somebody says there, please ask Philip J. Pierre to move himself. Okay. Oh, that one is disrespectful. Can't read this one at all. All right. I want to read this one as well. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there, he was sleeping during the crime symposium. I don't think we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Hope to see couple ministers start crossing before election. And they will tell you that is their right to change allegiance at any point in time. Let me leave you with, in a moment we'll have our NewsSpin question of the day and the NewsSpin news of the day. But Nicole David, remember that she's suffering with cancer and she has made a plea. And we played it yesterday. It's worth playing again today.
Hi everyone, this is Nikki David. As you know, or may now be finding out, I've been diagnosed with cancer. I just wanted everybody to know what my progress is right now because I know everybody's been asking, and I'm so grateful for all the support, all the love, I never knew that I was loved that much, but I thank you guys so much. However, right now I have to do chemo in St. Lucia, because of possibility of blood clot if I travel presently. So right now we're doing that first set of chemo, 6 weeks of chemo, and then we're gonna see if I can travel to Martinique, or other possible place. I just want to say the GoFundMe through Giselle Brown from England, it is legit. Please support whatever little you can. And if you know me, reach out to me as well. You can also go through my account. All right. So the GoFundMe is legit. I know some people have their little things about doing GoFundMe, but it is legit. So whatever little you can, a little goes a long way, because chemo and all these other things you have to do to get the body back on track. It's very, very, very expensive, so I'm reaching out to you guys to help, to assist in whatever possible way you can. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. Love you.
That's Nicole David Ailing, and we hope that we will definitely as a community come together and see whatever we can do to raise the necessary funds that would aid in her recovery. Our NewsSpin question of the day: why must Prime Minister Philippe J. remind reporters that he has a country to run? Why must Prime Minister Philippe J. remind reporters that he has a country to run? And finally, our NewsSpin news of the day reads: an average of 140 women and girls were killed by a partner or relative per day in 2023, according to the United Nations. An average of 140 women and girls were killed by a partner or relative per day in 2023, according to the UN. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. My name is Timothy Poleon. I'll be back, God willing, tomorrow afternoon, same time, 12:30. Be safe and continue to enjoy your Tuesday. Goodbye.